I'm Lauren, I'm Friday, and today I'm here to talk to you about Looking For Alibrandi.
10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
So last week, some of you guys may remember that I went to the National Book Bloggers Forum. While we were there, they were nice enough to give us a bit of a goodie bag, and inside it was a copy of Looking For Alibrandi. Now, this book, for those of you not familiar with it, is an Australian book by an author named Melina Marchetta, or Marchetta. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that one. It was written in 1992, and it's kind of, you could kind of say it's probably one of the most famous Australian young adult books in the contemporary genre, certainly for its time anyway. Basically what it's about is a young Italian girl named Josie, or Josephine, and she is attending a school with nuns, and her family is, she's from a big Italian family, and there's a lot of drama in it, both from a familial perspective and then also with the presumed boys. And I think one of the things that makes this book really special is that it certainly really captures Australian culture really well. I remember when I read it, it was definitely one of the first books that I'd read that as a teenager I felt I could really relate to when it came to Australian culture. I mean, we're a big melting pot. We've got so many different cultures and nationalities here. So, and from the first scene in this book, you really get drawn into that. So the first, it's welcomes you to this traditional Italian family where they're making tomato paste by squashing the tomatoes and doing all that sort of stuff. So it's really, but then on the flip side, she doesn't want to be necessarily associated with that, and it talks about the quintessential Australian things that she does sort of enjoy doing. And so it's a really nice insight, I guess, to life in Australia, certainly life in Sydney. I think another reason it's such a popular book, not only is it very well written, but it also looks at journey. It's very self-discovery. During the book, Josie really comes into herself and learns to, without giving too much away, learns to forgive and learns to grow as a person. But yeah, so for me, this was definitely one of the books as a teenager that changed the way I viewed reading. This is probably the first book that sort of took me from, I used to read a lot of fantasy when I was sort of early teens. This definitely took me firmly back into the contemporary place, and I just really loved it. It certainly inspired me and made me want to read and write a whole lot more. So what about you? What do you guys have a book that was sort of the turning point of your life that made you go from casual reader to, oh, I get this, I understand this? Because that's certainly what this book was for me. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please comment below, and I'll see you next week.